When you hear the sound of the bell, you know you're in the championship rounds with King Amin of Essex, and I'm here with what else? Women's Boxing Wednesday, and I'm rather excited about this one. I got some good news and some bad news. The bad news is, man, the sanctioning bodies are getting in the way, but let's not rush too fast. First things first, let's shout out Gabriela, Gabby. What does she call herself? Sweet Poison Fundora? Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. Um, what's the kid's name? Sebastian Fundora's sister. Yeah. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I just mean that she's carving out a career in her own right because we're talking women's boxing. What did she do to carve out this niche? She picked up the IBF Flyweight title this weekend with a fifth round KO over I think she was a long time reigning champion Arlie Moncio. So yeah, I mean, listen, Fundora is, kind of newish to the game, but I think she's about 12 fights in. She's been on Golden Boy. They've been building her, developing her. I think the fashion in which she won the fight was very impressive. Um, she's a hell of a puncher. She's nasty, bad intentions, Reminds me a lot of Sky Nicholson. And what I mean by that is they're both very tall, lean, slim fighters, and they're more punchers. They can box, but they're punchers. They're boxer punchers, like her style. Salute to her. Now, like I said, she's in the flyweight division, IBF title. Um, it's kind of thin down there, except for Marlene Esparza. Great fight. Esparza's kind of on the back end. She's going to really have to hold her ground against a fighter like Fundora. So I kind of feel like Fundora, minus the experience, could run the table. Um, and then moving on, because like I said, 112 is thin. I really want to see her, she could move straight through 115. There's not many notable fighters. I'm not saying that disrespectfully. I mean, there's not many fighters that have drawn our eyes on that division. So, it's like that on the guys' side of things. Sometimes we don't pay attention to the smaller guys. Nonetheless, 115, shoulder shrug, right? Which brings me to the 118-pound division. I'm hoping, and again, not to rush because she is in her moment, but eventually, this is how you can become a three-division champion. Got a title at 112, beat Marlene Esparza, you beat two champions, unified, whatever. Matter of fact, I think Esparza is a unified. Maybe you'll undisputed. Cool, get that. And then you can move on to 115. I definitely see her clearing out 115. I'm gonna have to go back and do some research, but I don't think there's anyone or anything that could hold her back at 115. So that's two divisions. And then when you get to 118, when she's a little bit on the other side of her career, I mean, you talk about the blonde bomber Ebanie Bridges, you got Shannon Courtney, you got Shannon O'Connell, Nina Hughes. You got a lot of fighters at 118. So yeah, man, it'd be nice to see how this turns out for one Gabby Fundora. So salute to her. Can't wait, can't wait. Now, I told you I got some bad news. I talked about the sanctioning bodies in here. Let me deliver the good news first. The good news is we're probably gonna get McCaskill Ryan rematch sometime next spring-ish. I'm thinking maybe no later than March, you know what I'm saying? That's fingers crossed. Now here's the bad news. Yo, these sanctioning bodies, both the WBC and the WBO rejected petitions for an immediate rematch. And this was, I mean, I don't have to spit no more venom. I think both of these organizations know what I think about their decision thus far. It's completely deplorable, but these people got to find a way to make their money. So when the sanctioning bodies, you're fighting to defend your title, you got to pay them a piece of the pie, and they want their shit off the top. So, of course, the sanctioning bodies wouldn't move straight to the rematch, even though the fans would love. That would be too much like right. So they want to make a little money. Yeah, man, it's a terrible decision by the sanctioning bodies, and we don't want anything to happen to either fighter on the way there. Now, they're ordered to face their mandatories. And for McCaskill, she was already set to fight Ivana Habizin out of Michigan by way of Iran, I believe. Former opponent of Clarissa Shields. And then I think she was a contender or title holder in her own right, but that was already in line for McCaskill, so that has to happen. And then there's this girl out of Hungary. What, she's like a 16-4 fighter. What's Shorty's name? Kinga Manguyar. Okay. I ain't sleeping on her, right? So yeah, that is Sandy Ryan's opponent. That's mandatory WBO. She's #1. So we'll just have to see how things turn out. Yeah, great title defenses are always great, but I think it was such an egregious decision. We'd like to see it sooner than later, but we'll have to wait for later. One thing we will not have to wait for later is what's coming up this weekend, and that is Amanda Serrano in the 12-round, 3-minute rounds championship bout versus Danila Ramos. Ramos is 12-2 with only 1 KO, so she must be a boxer. She's out of Brazil. You know she's gonna be tough, but Serrano, she's already out there talking. She's not gonna need 12 rounds, so we are going to see. Remember, I'm watching what Serrano does. She's holding all the cards at featherweight, and she's got some options. She's got some options, but that fight is happening this weekend. Also on that card, the Puerto Rican prospect Crystal Rosado. She's 1-0 with 1 KO, I believe. That's Amanda Serrano's little homie, so to speak. So she'll be on this card as well. Also, you have a women's boxing mainstay, Nina Minke out of Germany. She's in action. She's 17-3. She's actually a former title holder, been holding it down, but she's got losses to Katie Taylor, and she's since dropped some weight, and now she's contending. She's got some European titles, and she's in there against Panamanian fighter Laura Ledesma. So something that if you can watch it, tune in, because you may or may not see Minky around. She's in the featherweight division, right? And it just so happens she's fighting on the weekend with Serrano, Amanda Serrano. That's the queenpin of the featherweight division. So it's just some things that could be happening and shifting opportunities. Maybe Minky will pop up as an opponent for Nicholson. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got to pay attention to everything moving, all right? Women's boxing is boxing. We love it all. Thank you guys for checking this one out. Many more to come. Women's Boxing Wednesday. I'm out. Stay safe. Stay dangerous. Don't waste your hustle.